On April 5th, there's supposed to be some peaceful protests all across the nation. And it is time for white people to stand up and speak out.
Hey beautiful people, how y'all doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome to my channel. How have you all been? Hope you guys are doing great. So this video is the part 2 video I told you guys about of white people's response to the April 5th protest that is about to go on in the US in Washington. If you haven't seen the first part, please go see. Those are black people's response to it. So if you don't know what's going on in the US, there's going to be a massive protest going on April 5th against the government because people are saying that the government is giving Israel money to perpetrate more harm to the Palestinian people, and also speak about the injustice that's going on in America and in terms of immigration, the LGBTQ, and also like literally they said people just need to march. If you haven't seen the first video, go check it out because there's like a breakdown of what's one of the main reasons why people are coming out and why everybody to show up in Washington 5th of April to have a massive protest. And they say this will be one of the biggest protests that's ever gone on in the US. So in this video, we're going to see white people's response, which I'm super excited. I really want to hear what they have to say about this. So let's go check out their response and then we'll come back and talk more. But let me know what you think about the entire thing and white people's response. Now, what you think white people's response will be?
1 million people are going to march in the United States on April 5th. 1 million people. To put this in perspective, these are all of the protests that are being planned for April 5th right now. There are many people protesting on the 5th. You want to zoom in closer look? I mean, look at this. Look at how many people are going to be organizing here too. Here as well. It's really going to be popping off in this region too. This is all part of Hands Off, the National Day of Action, Saturday, April 5th, 2025. There are a lot of people involved in these coalition talks. I am one of them. We in Cincinnati are going to be having our rally then from 11 to 1 p.m. And this is just Cincinnati. So far, via our sign up on Mobilize, we have over 187 people right now scheduled to attend. And this is still 2.5 weeks out from April 5th. So if you live in the United States and you are very concerned about what is going on, get involved and join the protests on April 5th. This administration has shown that it cares nothing about you or the 99% of us. It only cares about the top 1%, the corporate billionaires, and that has to stop. We need your help right now. So join us on April 5th. Make your voice heard. Your voice is very important and needs to be heard right now.
So y'all are planning a little march now on the 5th of April. I have a genuine question for you guys. What do you plan to accomplish with this march? Genuinely asking, okay? Because y'all are gonna go parade around town on the 5th, be a nuisance once again. And then come the 6th, Donald Trump is still going to be your president. What are we getting from that? I will give you this, you are very persistent, and at least this time it does fall on the weekend. Not that it falling on a weekday would impact you guys at all, but what do you plan to accomplish? Did you realize that vandalizing people's property, keying Teslas last week wasn't really helping your movement out very much? Those of us that voted for Donald Trump, you keyed their Tesla, we're just even more pissed off. People that voted for Kamala, I guess, if you're keying their Teslas, I'm sure that made them real happy, helped your movement out a lot. You guys just don't stop. Do you ever just sit back and take a breather and just not do anything for once? Of course not. A little gnat, a mosquito, a roach, if you will. You just keep coming back, no matter how hard we try to just get rid of you. Have fun, I guess. I don't know if it helps you cope a little bit with the fact that Donald Trump is going to be your president for the next just under 4 years. Do what you gotta do. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one.
So apparently 1 million people are set to protest on April 5th, and I want to let all black people know, sit your black asses down. You're not moving. You're not going nowhere. This is not our fight. Let 1 million of their people go out there and let's see how law enforcement handles them, okay? You all sit your black asses down. This is not our fight. They had the chance to align themselves with us back in November. They made their choice. They voted for how they wanted to vote for. So let them go and march. Let them go and protest. Let them go and rally. Let them go shed their blood.
So a quick little PSA to this creator and anyone else who seems to obviously be confused. The people who cry in the streets, that is not the Republicans. Those are the Democrats and the liberals. You are in fact talking about the people who did align with you. She says, oh, well, they had the opportunity to align with us in November, but they didn't want to. So now let them go cry and let them go figure it out. What? We don't align with you now. We didn't align with you in November and we don't align with you now. We do not regret our decision, not one bit. You guys are the ones that are crying and protesting. The people who cry in the streets has been and always will be the liberals and the Democrats. Do not try to somehow flip it and twist it and make it like it's the Republicans. No, that's all you guys.
On April 5th, there's supposed to be some peaceful protest all across the nation. And it is time for white people to stand up and speak out. Especially if you're a white straight male. It is our time to stand up for the people who have been oppressed and marginalized by this country. I really want us to think about this. Anytime that there's a fight for basic human rights in this country, it's always led by marginalized groups. Whether it's the black community, whether it's women, whether it's the LGBTQIA plus community. When are white men going to stand up for basic human rights in this country? When are white men going to start calling out other white men who love to exploit people in this country? So if you're not already in the game, get in the game, lace up your boots. Black people need some rest and reparations. It's time for us to fight. These white men who are in power, all they do is exploit the red pill masculinity bullcrap. They know their audience. They know they're not very smart. They know they're poorly educated. They know they have that pound on my chest, I'm a tough guy type of mentality, but don't have a whole lot to think with. They know that the people who follow them buy into the get-rich scheme type of things. They buy into the self-help type of BS in hopes that one day they can exploit other people. But it is time for us to stand up and fight. Get loud. Use your privilege for good. We have an administration that talks about meritocracy while their DUI hire is putting national secrets in a Signal group chat. And when you elect a circus, expect to put a tent over the show.
So apparently all the people who hate Donald Trump, meaning liberals, crazy people, just people who have no morals or self-respect for themselves, they're all going to protest on April 5th. And it's going to be a day of silence. Please, be silent all the time. No one wants to hear from you. Like, please, be silent every day. Also, like, what on earth are you people protesting? Every time you guys protest, nothing happens. So it's like you're wasting your time. Go make some money. Like, work your job. Go out and do something. Don't protest.
Apparently, there is a march planned for April 5th, and let's just take a look at some of the things that they're protesting for. The march itself is called Hands Off, and it's basically to stop Trump and Musk's illegal billionaire power grab. As if our government already wasn't corrupted by billionaires and corporations like 10, 15 years ago, but sure, I'll bite. This picture says Hands Off Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security, which Trump has made very clear several times that he is not touching. And in fact, if you look at some of the bills that they've been passing, they actually increased funding in some of these areas. And then it says Hands Off our jobs and our wallet. So I guess everyone that's going to this just missed the fact that multiple companies have made billion-dollar investments in America, which will create more jobs and more money in your wallets. And then the next one says Hands Off our bodies, as if Trump hasn't said plenty of times that he will never sign a national abortion ban. I mean, there are other arguments to be made for this one, but I'm sure that's the main one they're talking about, and it has been off the table since day one. As a matter of fact, Trump in his own state voted for a very liberal abortion policy that allowed abortion up to way in the late trimester. And then they claim to want fair elections, but every single time that Trump tries to pass something that would verify everyone's identity in elections and make voting even easier, they have a problem with it. And the personal data one to me is just absolutely hilarious that you actually care that the government has our data when half of you were signing up for Red Note and signing a contract in a different language that you didn't even understand. You don't even know what you signed in that contract. You have no idea what your rights are that you have given away, and yet you are concerned about Elon Musk having your personal information. And not to mention the fact that Facebook has had your data for a long time, Google has had your data for a long time, Apple iPhones have had your data for a long time, and none of you cared about any of it until Elon got in there. Your iPhone literally has a setting, most iPhones come with this setting enabled, and you have to disable it, that allows the microphone to listen to your conversations all the time, and I don't see any of you trying to get rid of your iPhones. The public land ones, I don't have much to say about that because I don't keep up with that conversation that much, but let me just say this. A lot of people have a problem with Trump getting rid of regulations that make it harder to buy materials and find materials to make homes, and yet all of you were celebrating when Kamala Harris said that last year she wanted to build 3 million new homes so that people could afford housing. And where exactly did you think that she was going to get all of the materials to build these 3 million homes? And why do we need to build 3 million new homes when we have 4 million plus homes that are currently vacant in the United States? As far as veteran services go, Trump has already signed executive orders that are helpful to veterans that are currently homeless in our country and very much ignored. And on top of it, this is also an area where he actually increased funding and didn't decrease it. Cancer research is the same as the Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security situation. You guys are not listening to Trump when he says that he is not touching this. He is getting rid of the wasteful parts of this program. You may not agree with the parts that are deemed wasteful, but they are wasteful. NATO, I'm not even going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole because we all know that NATO is a giant joke. Consumer protections has got to be the funniest one of all on here though. Consumer protections means that they are protecting you from unsafe things being in your food, being in your drugs, being in your medicines. And yet as soon as Trump put someone in there that actually cares about what is in your food and what is in your medicine and what is in your vaccines, you guys hate it. And on that note, I would love to know what kind of consumer protections we had around the COVID vaccine. And on top of that, say you don't like RFK Jr. Say you want to clean up your food and you want to clean up your drugs and medicine, but you don't trust RFK Jr. Who do you trust? I would love to hear a name that you guys would throw out that would provide the same type of care. And then you talk about clean air and clean energy. Like Trump has said plenty of times that one of his biggest goals in his presidency is to make us energy independent. And for a group of people who wants clean air and clean energy, you sure did turn on the leading company for electric vehicles real fast. 2 years ago, it was everybody has to drive a Tesla. Everybody has to drive an electric vehicle because we are ruining the earth. As if our tiny cars make any difference in comparison to all of these politicians and celebrities all over the world taking a private jet to go 20 minutes down the road. And it's funny how I never saw any of you calling any of them out for that. As far as schools go, I need you guys to know that only 13% of the funding for every school came from the government. And just because we are dismantling the Department of Education does not mean that that money is going to go away. It means that money is going to go directly to the states with no red tape in between. There will be no barriers to getting this funding like there currently is right now. And the person who can do the most to benefit the schools in your state is your governor who understands what goes on in your state. These bureaucrats who live in Washington, D.C. do not understand what is going on, for instance, in schools in like bumfuck Georgia. So sending the money for those schools directly to Georgia, in the hands of someone who understands Georgia, is beneficial. Libraries, I don't know about that one. I haven't heard anything about libraries, so I'll leave that one alone. Free speech, come on, you guys. Elon saw that people were being censored off of X, and so he bought X so you can have the freedom to say whatever you want. Remember how after Elon bought it, pretty much anyone could say anything they want on X and everybody started calling it the Wild Wild West? Yeah, that was because he understands that you have the freedom to say what you want. You just don't have the freedom from people disagreeing with you and calling you an idiot for saying what you said. LGBTQ rights have not been touched, and if you want to know the truth, nobody has LGBTQ rights more on their mind than Donald Trump, because the first time he was president, he started a worldwide campaign to decriminalize homosexuality. So not only does Trump care about the LGBTQ community in America, but he cares about that community all over the world. And as far as immigrants go, come on, you guys, we have got to drop this argument. If you did not come here legally, you don't belong here. And on top of that, Trump has actually made processes easier for people to become citizens. For instance, if you come to this country on a temporary visa and you go to school and get a degree in a 2-year or 4-year college, you automatically graduate with a degree and with a green card, and you are now a U.S. citizen. But I bet you never heard that because no one ever covers it. And I know y'all are not sitting here fighting for courts when y'all are trying to say already that these judges in random states have more power than the president of the United States. Judges from random states all over the country are just blocking things that Trump does left and right, when what federal authority do they have? So on that one, I don't even see what your problem is, because right now the favor is in the favor of the courts. Like, don't get me wrong, I think it's great that you guys were able to organize in this type of way finally and get 2 million people to sign up for this event. I guess we're just tired of seeing you guys protest for stuff that you don't even understand. And I'm not claiming to be well versed in everything, okay? I don't understand everything, and neither do you. you. But come on, some of these things that you are marching for is literally because you would rather listen to somebody tell you that Trump wants to take it away than to listen to him when he says that he doesn't. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, good luck to you. More power to you. Like, I'm proud of you for having a voice. I just wish you guys would learn how to use it better.
April 5th. April 5th, mark it down. Take the day off. Cancel your plans. We need you and your voice and your signs and your friends and your family. April 5th at your state capitol. April 5th. This is not a, I don't know if I can go. This is a make it happen. The veterans had the biggest protest to date and the media refused to cover it. We need it to be so large, they cannot ignore us. This government is a fascist, and they're taking over your democracy and your freedom. Kidnapping people off the street and jailing. They're not deporting them, they're jailing them. Pushing them deeper into the for-profit prison system without access to due process. No lawyers, no phone calls, no family, no bed, no pillow, no blankets. Children. They have toppled every pillar of democracy and they are now onto your judicial system because they're not in lockstep with him. And for anybody going, why aren't they doing anything? Who's to do it, friends? The DOJ is under his command with absolutely no morals or principles, no integrity. Pam Bondi is going to do whatever he wants her to do, regardless of legality. Kash Patel, same thing, but worse. Nobody can stop this but us. We need to be louder in numbers too big to ignore. We need to show up on April 5th. Your freedom and your democracy is literally at stake. And if you're a Republican, honey, you too. Remember, they may come for us first, but you will be next. That's 2A amendment that you love so much. Under a fascist dictatorship, that's one of the first things to go. Because they want to stop people from rising up. Make this video go viral. We need everyone to know April 5th is the day. Show up in numbers too big to ignore.
If you are a person of color, I highly recommend that you do not involve yourself with these April 5th protests. They know exactly what they're doing, and this is primarily a message for anybody involving yourself with these April 5th protests. They want a rise out of you. When you look at some of the individuals that have been organizing these protests, right? And this is not to defer away from the message being heard, okay? But you need to hear me out. During the BLM movement, there was a lot of PSYOP activity happening, and so many were unaware of the divide of which they were intending to create. This country is once again in the position of which people of color, and this time I mean all people of color, are being targeted while so much other shit goes on behind closed doors. Think about the Epstein files right now, right? Where are they at? Think about what's going on in Yemen and Gaza right now, right? Your attention is once again going to be deferred away from the corruption that exists around the world. They want your eyes on something else, people. It's called psychological warfare. Before you question anything I'm trying to tell you right now, I want you to think about one thing. We as the people do not have to organize any protest. We can literally just make it happen at any given moment. That in itself should make you question everything, but it doesn't. Look at what they're doing to all these individuals that were involved in these protests over the last year. With invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, these individuals can legally be moved wherever you know who pleases. And when I say you know who, well, let me just give you a hint. It rhymes with who. They thrive on that, especially right now, because people are starting to wake the fuck up. So just be cautious of where you are on that day if you are actually going to protest, okay? Be aware of your surroundings at all time. And bring milk. If you know, you know.
What's the milk for? If you know, please tell us down in the comment section. Please go down in the comment section, share your thought. Love to know what you think about this conversation, white people's response to this April 5th protest. What are your own take on it? But please feel free, share your thought, but please be respectful. Yeah, on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a very respectful way. So go ahead, feel free and share your thought. So for me, it's really interesting to see how so divisive the white people in the US are right now. And it's really interesting. For me, I'm not surprised because most of them voted Trump. And for me, I don't even know why they are the ones even ringing the bell for the entire Trump thing, because majority of white people voted Trump because they didn't want a woman or a person of color or this thing. And I feel like when it comes to America, this whole racism thing is so, and patriarchy is so deep in the system. And I know it is everywhere, but American takes the lead and every other person follow. But honestly, on this match, I'm not against. I'm against. I don't like Donald Trump as a president. I've said it alternately because I feel like he's a loose cannon. He can do whatever he wants to do. Nobody's coming. But also, why I really do agree with a lot of black people and some of those white people. I feel like black people should stay out of it. I feel like this is a big setup for black people or people of color, even though most people of color voted for him. I feel like this is a big setup, especially for black people, and I feel like they should just sit down. White people can go on. In fact, this is their time. They should take the lead and make a change and power to the people. At least let them do something for the community for once. So I feel like white people, go ahead, do your thing. Black people, don't. I feel like don't involve yourself, because when the push comes to shove, you'll be the one to take most of the burden. The white people, we know the white privilege thing. You get it? So let it go. And people trying to support Trump administration and say, oh, they are not OP. You're just reading. Like, really, are you trying to gaslight us to think that we're stupid? This was saying what is happening, and you're saying no, that's not what we're saying. Like, please. Anyway, guys, go on and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think down in the comment section. But as always, keep it respectful. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go on and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see. And that will be you supporting this channel and this girl here. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.